stage. Silly games of second guessing. I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I could have known would have kept me from the one I love today. One street over there's a life I could have known. Things aren't always as they seem. One street over there's a life I could have known. One beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded like dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage.
All right. Good morning.
Silly games of second
You are tuned
guessing.
into 1100 WSGI. This is Lee Marie in for U-Turn Laverne on One Street Over. And I'm so glad you all have joined us as well. All of you out in radio world as well as in Facebook world. Happy New Year. Whew. I am so excited today because I actually have a first-time guest in the studio, Mr. Little Joe Bilyeu. How you doing?
I'm doing good this morning.
Oh, and you sound fabulous. You have a great radio voice. I think we're going to have you back. Already. I can feel it.
All right.
Anyways, I do want to wish everybody a happy new year. And there was something I wanted to read from you all. And I have to say that this actually was introduced yesterday morning to me at church at Lights Chapel. I went to a couple churches yesterday, so I had to remember which one that was. Anyways, I want to read it to you because I think it's super cool. So this says, "Good morning and welcome to Flight 2023. We are prepared to take off. Please make sure your positive attitude and gratitude are secured and locked in the upright position. All self-destructive devices, pity, anger, selfishness, and resentment should be turned off at this time. All negativity, hurt, and discouragement need to be put away. Should you lose your positive attitude under pressure during this flight, reach up and pull down a prayer. Prayers will automatically be activated by faith. Once your faith is activated, you can assist other passengers who are of little faith. There will be no baggage allowed on this flight at all. God, our captain, has cleared us for takeoff. Destination, greatness. Wishing you all a new year filled with new hope, new joy, and a lot of Jesus. Welcome to 2023. Isn't that cool?
Good morning. That's nice.
So there was a version read at Lights Chapel yesterday, and then when I was at home, I saw another version on Facebook, and so I kind of tweaked my own little and added a little more Jesus in there. So anyways.
A good goal for the new year.
Isn't it, though? Yeah. All right, I'm going to put your mic real close to your face. Here we go.
All right.
Excellent. So like I said, this is the first time my guest has been in the studio, and he is an expert on so many things that it was really hard to ask him what exactly to come speak about, because, you know, he could speak about so many things. But I know that you're prepared and you've got a great outline there. And so I did ask little Joe Bilyeu to come in and kind of talk about the benefits of teaching your family survival skills, camping, fishing, different things like that, because, you know, it's a brand new year, and I know a lot of you are making, well, I know some of you make New Year's resolutions and then you say, oh, I don't, you know, do them. Well, goals. Let's make some new goals. So I think these are all excellent things that, you know, people can try to implement into their family for the coming year. So
Yes, introduce a child to the outdoors.
yes.
You'll be repaid many times over in life watching them enjoy the outdoors and having a fun life.
And I know you are an expert at that, because I know that, you know, so many people have gone on outings with you. And I really understand it now, too, because I really feel the more that I'm in nature, you know, the closer I feel to God and just to everything that's right.
Yeah, there's a spiritual presence when you're in nature. When you're in the woods, you just get to calm your mind and clear your thoughts and not think about work and just enjoy the beautiful scenes in nature.
Yeah, I think that that's one reason why, you know, when a lot of churches do retreats, they go into nature.
Yeah.
You know, they go away. They say, hey, leave your electronic programming devices back in, you know, and go into nature.
Right.
All right.
So, Lee, I'm going to tell you who I am. I'm Joe Bilyeu. I have been camping since I was 3 years old.
Wow.
I'm 55 years old. My dad, Joe Bilyeu Sr., was a good leader, and he took me and my two brothers camping, hunting and fishing, all these things. You say I'm an expert. I have learned what I've done by mistakes, and I have been lost in the woods, and I've got myself back out of the woods, and I've had to start a fire in the rain. So
Wow.
I've been there and done that. So it's good to have expert ranking today.
Well, yeah, it's great that you say that you've learned so much by mistakes, because really
Right.
we learn a lot from mistakes. And there's a lot of people out there that are so afraid of trying anything because they're afraid they're going to fail or make a mistake. But don't be afraid.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Get out there and do it. I used to tell my Boy Scouts or their families, my boys and I are going to do it. I want y'all to go with us. And we did. I mean, we went with or without scouting. We would have done this, but we were able to carry 65 families of Boy Scouts with us at some points in times, and we've had 300 Boy Scouts camp on our place at one time.
Oh my gosh.
And we never lost with two of them. No, I'm lying. We didn't lose two of them.
Now, is that a record? Because, I mean, I don't really hear of many people having that many people going on scout trips.
I don't know if it's a record or not, but that was the Middle Tennessee Boy Scouts of America that come to our place and done their Warioto roundup one time. And just the things that we done in scouting. I was a Boy Scout leader, scoutmaster for 12 years. I helped the Boy Scouts afterwards, after my boys graduated, for 2 more years, trying to keep the Scouts alive. And our group was Cedar Hill.
Oh, okay.
And kind of the reason I got involved in scouting, I was blessed with twin boys, Hunter and Dylan, 24 years ago. And, you know, raising a new family and trying to start off, I was working 6-7 days a week a lot of times. And my wife says, hey, they're having a Boy Scout sign up. I said, well, let's get the boys in it. And I said, but I ain't going to be a leader, though. I said, I work too much. So we went to the meeting, and there was a lot of people there. And 2 guys I went to school with had volunteered to be the leader. I thought, well, okay, so I can be a helpful parent. So they get up in front of the crowd and look out at me, and they said, we'll be a leader if Joe Bilyeu will help us. So I got nominated, and within 6 weeks, both those parents and groups had dropped out. So,
Oh, my goodness.
so I was the leader for the next 14 years. I had involvement with those Boy Scouts.
Wow. That is amazing. But your dad had started you at an early age.
Right.
Age
My
3?
my dad took us hunting and fishing. We would even go and stay in a cave
Really?
for 2 and 3 days. Glover's Cave in Trenton, Kentucky. You know, we were allowed to explore back in the cave with your flashlight, and there was a lake in the cave, and we could actually get in the water and play. And so they were looking for Indian artifacts, and we were just playing. But my dad also wasn't a scout leader, but he was a leader for the scout leaders. He took scout groups on outings with us.
Oh.
So not organized, but or a leader, but just somebody that people want to go camping with and learn from.
Oh, very cool. Awesome.
I got a joke for you.
Okay.
Can I tell it?
Yes, please.
Okay, in Boy Scouting, you got to remember getting ready for these camp outs and all the things you do. So my twin boys, one laying on the right of me, one laying on the left of me, we're looking up at the stars, just me and the stars, enjoying the view. And Hunter says, "Dad, what does those stars tell you?" I said, "Hunter, meteorologically it tells me that it's going to be a clear night. It's probably going to be pretty cool." I said, "Astrologically it tells me that there are a million of stars out there, and it's just amazing." I said, "Theologically it tells us that God is great and he's created this outdoors and all these stars for us to enjoy." And my other son Dylan was laying. I said, "Dylan, what does it tell you?" He said, "Dad, it tells me you forgot the tent." Y'all can laugh now.
Oh, that's adorable. Now, had you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, now we did camp without tents. You don't have to have a tent to go camping. You can take a tarp and a rope between two trees and make yourself a shelter. You can go as simple or as complex as you want to on a camping trip. You can spend $3 or you can spend $300.
Awesome.
So it doesn't have to be rich.
All right. So what other advice do you got on camping?
So when we got ready for camping trips, and with the Boy Scouts, I had a meeting every Tuesday night, and we had to have something to do and plan. And we used to play this game when we went camping. And there would usually be 12, 15, 20 Boy Scouts at our group. And what am I going to carry camping with me? And so we started around with the group, and the first boy, he would usually say, I'm going to take my sleeping bag. And so the next boy, he had to say, I'm going to take my sleeping bag and my pocket knife.
Okay,
And
so
the
each time you had to add on.
Each time they added on, and we just made it a group. The time you got through, you had 15 items, and it reminded the boys of what they should carry camping with them. And one of the main things is toilet paper. So you don't want to be caught without the toilet paper in the woods.
So that would probably be a good memory game too, because you would probably remember, who said what. So when you're getting packing and you're like, oh yeah, but John said toilet paper. That's right. Whatever.
In camping is a managing your risk kind of thing too. You got to watch the weather. You don't want to camp in 6-degree weather. But we did one time. We had a camp out, and we actually camped. It was 6 degrees.
Really?
Our cameras froze. Our water froze. We was really hugging close to the fire that night and that morning.
Wow. And how long were you out in 6-degree weather?
For 2 full days.
Oh, wow.
And you don't want to camp real close to a creek when they're calling for thunderstorms at night. You may get flooded out. So there's risk assessments in camping that you need to look at. There's building responsibility for kids and future adults, managers, or whatever field they choose to be in. But somebody would be in charge of our menus for our food and make sure we had our supplies for the camp out. So that kind of planning was going on. When we went camping, which we're in a new age of cell phones and computers and all this going on, so much different technology to take kids' attention off the world. I see kids will travel from here to Nashville and not have seen anything on the side of the road, the woods, the cows, the deer, anything going on. So when we were camping, I asked them to unplug their phones, in which there was no computers when we was camping. But there is a place for technology, and we had the phones with us, and there's GPSs and different things, that technology that works well with you camping. I got a table full of gadgets I want to show you. So this is a solar powered cell phone charger. Or it will run a small flashlight or whatever you need to.
Wow.
So I found that handy. I kind of leave it on the dash of my Yukon.
Oh, okay. And you just get this like Harbor Freight or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the NRA gave me that one.
I was going to say it has an NRA little
Yeah.
sticker.
But it's come in handy. It will charge your phone.
Nice.
One technology story I want to tell you. Mm-hmm. We were camping one night, and I'm big into gadgets. I love flashlights. I love gadgets of any kind, and usually that's what I'll get, is somebody will get me some kind of gadget for Christmas. But one year, when my boys are about 12, 13, Hunter got a one of those digital compasses, a trail back. And so we were doing some night hiking. We had about 12, 15 boys with us, and we hiked deep into the woods at LBL, and it was cold that night, 15, 20 degrees. And Hunter's got this tracking device, and he's watching it. He said, man, this thing is plotting our trail. And what was supposed to happen was when we got to where we were, we could go in reverse and follow it back to our vehicle.
Uh-oh.
And so we'd been in the woods 12 hours, and everybody, 2 hours, I said 12 hours, for about an hour, and everybody's getting cold. And started to head back, and Hunter said, this thing is gone dead. Oh. So the batteries has got weak by the cold or whatever. Oh. And I felt vulnerable at that point because I had laid all my knowledge, all my experience on that gadget and it getting us back home. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, man. So we were on the side of a lake. I knew we were on the side of a lake. I knew when I got out of the vehicle, I saw the moon coming up in the west. Oh. And so I looked and I could see the moon. It was higher in the sky. And I could tell it was trying to go east. Mm-hmm. So I let the boys wander around lost for a few minutes. And then I told them, I said, look, we got to follow the moon. And we need to ease over to the right. And we'll run into the lake. So we followed the moon trail and eased over to the right. We were still getting cold and walked through some wet land. But we finally hit the beach. And I knew at that point, from being familiar with the map where we were camping, that we would wind back up at our truck. Oh. So that was one orienting or mapping. Oh, okay. And that's one thing I always show the boys too. When we're going camping or whatever, I like to show them a map of where we're going and say, you know, this is where we're camping. This is how the lake is or the river is wherever we're camping. Mm-hmm. If something happens, ease back to this road, come back to the campground, or ease over to the beach and come back to the campground.
Yeah, good point.
Right. So that was a fun trip, and I learned not to rely on technology.
That's right. And
all
so
the
many,
time.
Yeah. And so many of us are so reliant on it, you know, and even driving these days, you know, everybody just, you know, puts it in there and sometimes it can go out. Like you said, you know, the cold or something can make it go out. So you need to know where you're going.
Right.
You know, even if you're in a car and have extra warm stuff, because like we experienced 2 weeks ago, sub-zero weather just really caught a lot of us by surprise, and so you don't want to be out on the road.
You know, that's one thing we're going to talk about, preparedness and survival skills in a minute. Yeah, but we need to have an alternate heating source in your home, wherever you live. If you're depending on electric heat, you should have gas logs or propane heaters, wood stove. You should have some other alternative means of heating. Mm-hmm.
And I think I heard that there is going to be some more really cold weather coming pretty soon. I don't know if it's in like a week or so, but you know, we have a nice little break right now, but you know.
I'm looking at my camping layout and flexibility and adaptations to situations. You know, we can do all the planning we want to do and write down the list of things we're going to do, but when you get camping, there's going to be something that you forgot. And that's part of the fun of it, trying to cook eggs without salt and pepper, or trying to go canoeing without a paddle.
Oh, goodness.
Just to, you know, trying to open a can without a can opener. Somebody's going to forget something.
But that's a great attitude that you have. Like, hey, you know, it's always going to happen. It kind of reminds me, I used to do live shows, and I would tell our performers, you know, hey, something is going to happen that is completely out, and you just have to be ready for it. And when you have that attitude of, okay, then you don't freak out when something, you know, goes awry.
Right. And simplicity of camping. I want to talk about simplicity of camping just for a minute. And when we were kids, we lived on 7th Avenue in Springfield. And me and my buddies would load up our red wagon. And we would head down to Garner Street, which is the Greenway now. But it was our Greenway when we was kids before it was a Greenway. So we had to cut a path down to the creek. And we'd actually carry all our gear on a red wagon and camp for 2 nights down on the creek. And you know, I don't remember having a list of food, but I'm sure we cooked the fish and whatever that we caught, but
At that time, did you get any squirrel?
we didn't get any squirrels on those trips, but we have been on trips. And that's one thing on self-reliability of your kids or whatever. We, in my experience in Boy Scouting and camping, the boys have killed squirrels, and I've always told them if they're going to kill an animal, they need to prepare it and eat it. So they have had squirrel on the fire. One night we camped. There's 2 ponds close by us, and the boys made frog gigs out of bamboo. Some of the Garrison boys, they made frog gigs, and they come back with 12 or 14 frogs. So that night around the fire, we cooked some frog legs, and that was good. We have gathered clams from the lake, and I haven't found a good way to cook those yet, but they look good, so we're going to try it again. But those clams are huge, and they got a lot of meat in them, but they're about like eating a shoe.
Oh, that's great. Well, it is 7:20, so I do need to do a station break, so I'm going to do that, and I might ask you to shut the door as well. Let's hear from one of our sponsors here.
Are you getting ready to sit down at the real estate table, whether it's buying or selling? You need to make sure you have somebody on your team. I've got a couple of people to put on your team. Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. Up in Cross Plains, they've been there for over 20 years. Dear friends of mine, I've known them a long time. Cannot recommend them highly enough. Rebecca, we always talk about how she's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, because that's saying she's staying up to date on what she needs to know to make sure you're properly represented, that she's got her marketing husband that was a vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years in Nashville. So he knows how to make sure your property is seen in the best light, to get the best price, to get the top price for some property that you may be ready to sell. You ready to come to the table? How about somebody that specializes in Robertson County properties, but also buys and sells in the surrounding counties and across the state line up in Kentucky? You want to contact them? Call them 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or connect with them at sellwithbecky.com or by BUYRobertsonCounty.com. Always tell them U-Turn sent you.
All right, and that was U-Turn Laverne, who I am filling in for right now on One Street Over. I have my special guest, Little Joe Bilyeu. We're going over lots of cool camping, survival techniques and advice. And also, I just want to remind you all, if you are listening on air, that's great. But if you are around a computer or a phone, we are also broadcasting the video live, and you can submit questions or comments right there. So on the WSGI page, you'll see that it says WSGI is live right now. And also, it's on my Facebook page as well. But we'd love to hear your questions or comments if you like, because we do have Little Joe for the whole hour. I'm so excited about that. So anyways, let's get back to what we were talking about, and I'll move this back over to you.
Okay.
All right.
So I was talking about simplicity of camping. You can be as simple or as complex in camping as you want to be. You can cook steaks on the fire and au gratin potatoes, or you can carry hot dogs and mustard and some pinto beans, or and have a good meal with the beans and hot dogs. In our scouting or in our camping, we always work with teamwork. You know, when I carried 20 or 30 boys scouting, there was no way that I could do everything for all of them. So we broke up in teams. Some of the teams gathered firewood. Some of the teams got our tents set up. Some of the teams would set up our kitchen for our cooking. And it become known that that's what they were going to do. And I didn't have to tell them. They just jumped right in and done it. We always practiced what I call no trace, leave no tracks. When going into the outdoors, you are beholden to take care of the land. And actually, what we wanted to do was leave it better than it was when we was there. So a lot of times when we were camping, we pick up somebody else's trash. I always taught the boys that. And if you'll do that, they won't be one of these people who throws their RC bottle out the window going down the highway. Our scouts and our boys also, once a year, we would clean up the highways in Cedar Hill. And, they spent a whole evening, and we made a fun thing out of it. Like how much trash can we pick up? And when we go to Lamb Twin Lakes or Cheatham or wherever we go, if people throw beer bottles around, beer cans around, you don't want all the kids around all that stuff. Go ahead and pick it up.
Right.
And just take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
In perspective, you know, I don't care if you live in a mansion or if you live in a 3,000 square foot on the corner. There's public land out there that is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Land Between the Lakes, 180,000 acres. So I don't care if you own a quarter acre in Springfield and a little house. You can go enjoy your 180,000 acres at Land Between the Lakes. The lake, Cheatham, the Lake Cumberland, River. You can go fishing in those places. Old Hickory, Percy Priest. There's a lot of public land out there that you can enjoy. All you got to do is find somebody that will transport you there. Get a fishing pole, and you don't have to have a $75 fishing pole. You can get a cane pole and a length of line and a hook and dig you some worms and go fishing.
Well, and I'm glad you brought up all those, locations, because it's true. You know, they are basically right in our backyard here in Robertson County.
Right.
So I know the last place Stephen and I went was Land Between the Lakes, and you had told us a great place to go. And we camped right on the edge of the water. It was so beautiful. I mean, I was just like, this is only an hour away. Like,
Right.
we need to be going here more often.
And it's yours.
Yeah,
It's ours. It's ours to enjoy and take care of.
And so a lot of people don't know that some of these places are just right there, or you're just not taking advantage. And so this is just a challenge for the new year to be making some of these memories with your kids and with your families.
Right. A lot of fun to be had. Get out there and do it.
That's right. And too many people are attached, to those electronic programming devices, as I call them, whether it be the phone or the TV or the cable or whatever. Leave those home. Just get out and enjoy life. You doing it. And
I have
seeing
found generally that hunting, fishing, being in the outdoors, you're going to see a different kind of people. They're not the same kind of people you run into at the Walmart. They're nicer people. They will help you out. If you have left something home, they'll let you borrow something. And when we were camping, and you can ask any of my Boy Scouts, I always made friends with a stranger at the campground that maybe seemed like they were a loner or an elderly person that didn't have a lot of family. So we would befriend them and actually offer them to come over and eat a dinner with us or breakfast with us. And not no lifetime membership, but I bet those people remember us today, of that friendship and that kindness that we showed them on that one day at the lake.
Right. Now, that's an excellent point, and that's one thing we did the last time we were there. There was a gentleman who was camping by himself who had recently lost his wife. And we invited him over. He invited us over, and we exchanged numbers when we left. And matter of fact, he called us not too long ago and said, "Hey, I'm headed back," because we said, "Hey, whenever you're headed over there, let us know, because maybe we can meet up with you." So yeah, it is. There's so many wonderful people out there that are appreciating it, and you will run into them.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. Make a friend. I mean, it's not going to be a dangerous thing. Just watch out for the ones you have to watch out for, and be close to your kids.
Right. Exactly.
All right, I've about covered the camping scene. So
all right,
y'all go camping. I do have some gadgets.
Yes,
in front of
I
me
see
here.
all that fun stuff. Let's talk about some of that.
So in camping, and you can cut a stick off of a tree close to the river or whatever. But this right here is a handy dandy little hot dog stick.
Oh my goodness!
So it'll
That is
actually
very
fit in your
cool.
pocket. It's stainless steel. It's clean.
Wow.
And I'm just going to tell you the truth. A lot of my camping gear come from yard sales,
the
estate sales. You can find a lot of good camping gear that somebody else doesn't use.
Right.
Here's a handy little hatchet. Lee Marie asked me to do this, and I like to say I got prepared 3 weeks in advance, but all this come out of my Yukon.
Oh, nice.
They make some really nice saws nowadays, and or to cut your firewood with. I haven't got to use this one yet, but it's a silky saw.
Wow.
And,
so that looks like a giant pocket knife. Does it work? Oh, it does. Okay, it works just like that.
It opens up, and supposedly one of the best you can get.
Wow, that is really cool.
So
I love it.
I'm gonna try it out. This ain't no commercial. This is just my
Now,
stuff.
is that something you found at a yard sale?
No, I had to order that one online.
Okay.
So get what you want and enjoy life.
That looks really good, because actually, in the country, you never know when there's going to be a tree across the road.
Right. And that saw right there, a 12-inch, 14-inch diameter tree. It's just in a little time you can have it out of the way with that. And part of survival and preparedness too, and camping, we always took a first aid kit with us. Mm-hmm. And all of my Boy Scouts were first aid certified, mm-hmm. and they were CPR certified. We would have a nurse that would come by and do a CPR class with us every year. Probably now that I'm out of scouting, we need to refresh our CPR training. But all the guys were CPR trained and certified, and actually their first aid training for my two boys and one of their high school friends they come upon a head-on collision out by Joe Burns School. They were the first people on scene.
Really?
They evaluated the situation and talked to the woman behind the steering wheel of the truck that was wrecked, and evaluated her neck injuries and asked her to be still.
Oh my
gosh. Just they didn't have to do a whole lot, but just talk to her, calm her down, be still. The EMS is on the way.
Wow.
So they did add first aid to a person that was in need, and I'm proud of them for doing that.
Wow.
We can talk about hunting now if you want to talk about hunting.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So I was raised up in a hunting family, and actually right now at my house there's a deer roast in the crock pot that my son Dylan is cooking.
Very cool.
So, hunting teaches you self-reliance. There wasn't always a Kroger's or a Walmart that you could go buy your food from. You go back a generation in our time, and our parents and their parents had to hunt for their food. They had to gather eggs from their chickens. It's a different way, but we don't need to lose all those ways of self-reliance.
Mm-hmm.
When I take kids hunting or anybody hunting, gun safety is priority.
Now that is a great category to go over.
And even if you're not going to be a hunter for the rest of your life, gun safety is a priority, because your children are going to be around somebody that's got a gun laying somewhere,
mm-hmm.
and they need to know never point a gun at a person.
Mm-hmm.
Treat every gun as though it's loaded.
Mm-hmm.
And all the Boy Scouts that I had, I can tell you, their scoutmaster, as Lee Marie says, the expert, if I handed one of my Boy Scouts a gun,
mm-hmm.
they're going to open it up and make sure it's not loaded before we talk about this gun or look at this gun.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're shooting guns or hunting, be certain of your target. Make sure what is in the distance. You don't want to shoot a deer or a rabbit on the top of a hill and not knowing whose house is down on the other side of it. Need to learn the mechanical actions of your gun, how the safety works, how to load the gun, how to unload the gun. So if you're going to be a hunter, you need to learn the preparations of taking care of the animal, for cleaning it, dressing it, and getting it ready for you to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be an ethical hunter. What do I mean by that? If you're going to be shooting a .22 rifle at squirrels, be able to hit where you're aiming.
Mm-hmm.
If you're using a bow and arrow, be proficient at using the bow and arrow,
mm-hmm.
that you don't wound the animal and make an animal suffer.
Mm-hmm.
You want it to be a clean, precise kill.
Mm-hmm.
Always be familiar with the hunting regulation and rules of your state. Robertson County or Tennessee, to hunt deer, you have to have 400 square inches of orange on, orange vest, and an orange hat. There's a limit to how many bullets you can have in your gun. They set limits on when you can hunt, so that you don't deplete the animals in your area so bad that there's not any deer left. If we shoot all of them, there won't be any deer left.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Good point. All right. Well, we do have a couple more commercial breaks, so I'm going to do one right now. Time is just flying by. I knew that it would. So again, we have little Joe Bilyeu here in the studio, and this is Lee Marie. I'm filling in for U-Turn Laverne as she took off some time for the holiday. And so we do need to hear from another one of our sponsors, and you get to hear U-Turn Laverne's voice.
Cumberland Connect will be knocking on your door. If you are a Cumberland Electric customer, and if you sign up, I've already signed up. I cannot wait to have high-speed internet in my home. I'm like a lot of you. I live rural, and I have had terrible internet. Some people have not even had internet. And if you are wanting access, good news, you've got it now through Cumberland Electric. It is so exciting. And one of the most exciting things I just found out a few weeks ago. Cumberland Connect, they're going to make sure everybody has access. If you're somebody that financially says, I just can't even pay for the base package, you may be eligible for free internet. Or at least a very discounted rate where we can get your family connected. If you think you might be financially eligible, call them 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362, or go to cumberlandconnect.org, and let them know your situation. And put your zip code in. See when they're going to be knocking on your door like they are mine. I'll keep you up to date. I'm very excited about high-speed internet. How about a gig for $80? Great pricing, great access. Come into your neighborhood. Contact them today. Cumberland Connect, cumberlandconnect.org. Tell them you sent you. Cumberland
All
Connect
right, and we are back from our commercial. And just to let you know, we do have some more first-time people coming on this week, because I am filling in for U-Turn Laverne today through Thursday. So tomorrow we're having Clint Butcher and Barry Campbell coming in. They actually are at Jolton Baptist, and they have a really good kids program that they're doing over there, and we got to hear about that. And Wednesday we have a homeschool director coming on who is running a really great program out in Madison that a lot of people in Robertson County can take advantage of. And that actually Wednesday Go Show, I believe Terry Wilson is coming in, because he comes in the first Wednesday of every month. So he will be on one street over, and then the Go Show, actually, which I do every Wednesday at 8 a.m. That's when we're going to have the homeschool expert lady come on at 8 o'clock. Don't want to confuse you all. And then, of course, Thursday, we are having Sean Haney come in from Sean Haney Designs in the morning, and then United Way does their normal spot at 7:30 on Thursday. Friday, U-Turn Laverne will be back for Faith Friday on one street over. And then following that at 8 a.m., it is the first Friday of the month. So you know what that means? The Wild Doc. So every first Friday we have Wild Doc on, and he is transforming lives. Let me tell you, not only is Mark and Laverne going to see him, but my last guest who was on Friday, Shannon Baumgartner and John Baumgartner, they're going to see him, and he's really helping a lot of people. He's a Christian chiropractor down in Clarksville, and he is using a lot of natural things. His I believe it was his uncle was also a natural chiropractor, and so he knows all about the herbs and everything that is growing that can help, which I'm sure you probably have some of that in your survival notes that we're going to be talking about next. So anyways, we have a really fun week planned ahead, and I'm just so thankful that I got to be here, because I love doing this show, because I learned so much, and I love to have all these people on. So thanks for tuning in with me, but we do still have some more time to talk to little Joe Bilyeu. So we're going to go over survival, because this is something that we all need to incorporate into our family plans for the new year. So let's go ahead and do that.
Survival planning and preparedness. In any survival situation, a tornado, a thunderstorm, or earthquake, or whatever, there's going to be some nervousness going on, some scared, some people that are not knowing how to handle it. But calm down the situation. Remain calm, and ask them to be calm, and tell them, we're going to be all right. In whatever situation you're in, do what's appropriate. If it's a tornado coming, get in the basement, or if you're Lemsman Lakes, you may all have to fit in one of those little small bathrooms, but get somewhere to get out of the way of debris. In your survival planning and preparedness for your home or your vehicle, you need to have a disaster supply kit ready. You need to have 3 days worth of water and 3 days worth of food. 3 days worth of water would be 1 gallon times however many people are in your household. There are survival kits that you can get. This is a little kit somebody gave me for Christmas. It's got a little bit of everything in there. Some spoons and forks, a knife opener, a can opener. So you want to make sure you have all your supplies, all your fire starting supplies, and one of the best fire starting supplies I've ever seen was a big lighter. 97 cents, and you can start 1,000 fires. There's fire strikers that people get, flint and steel. There's 100 different ways to start a fire. This is a newer one that they've come out with. This is called Typhoon matches.
Yeah, what is
These
that?
matches right here, I got these in the camping aisle at Walmart. You can actually submerge them in water, and then they'll still light.
Wow, really?
So you can start a fire with those matches right there. And that's another one of those gadgets. I just love gadgets, so that's one thing that I like to have.
So even if these are wet, they will still
They
start.
will still strike if they're wet.
Amazing.
So pretty amazing matches to have. I like to have about 49 different ways to start a fire if you need to. In your survival kit, you can have a flashlight. You can have a $100 flashlight, or you can have a $3 flashlight. But this is a rechargeable. This light will recharge off of the solar battery. So if your lights are out for 2 or 3 days, you can recharge it with the solar.
Okay.
And I don't know if you ever saw these, but we all grew up with the lanterns that we had. And this is one of the newest ones out, Stream Light. I love this little lantern. Look, it's not going to come on when I tell you. It was working earlier. But anyway, I'm going to tell you these are good lanterns, and the batteries probably died from being in my Yukon.
Needs to be
But,
charged with the solar.
This little
panel.
lantern right here will put off almost as much as a propane gas lantern.
Really?
That we used to use
Oh, wow.
so much. We about went to all batteries. This little light here, somebody gave me, and if you were backpacking or hunting, coming out after hunting, I could see where this would be a safety feature. It's a little strobe light. So you hang it off your jacket, or
Okay.
where it can be seen when you're walking out of the woods, maybe in the evening when it's dark or whatever.
It's so, I mean, flashlights are so important to have. Even like the other day, actually, when it was really icy, I think it was Christmas Eve, actually, we were trying to go from our house to Stephen's parents, and the road on Fluellen was just, there was just too much ice. We were just sliding, and we needed to make a U-turn, and there was just not a good place, you know, to do that, but we had to because we were sliding.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had put in, I have this red and black kind of like a spotlight that I got at Harbor Freight, and you charge it, and it's really just really goes far. And so while Stephen was doing a U-turn basically in the middle of the road, I just put it out facing, you know, traffic, because if somebody were to come, we wouldn't get T-boned.
Right.
There you go. Now your
Now
lantern's
what's come
working.
on?
There you go.
Just on cue when she talks about having a light, you come on.
So yeah, always have a flashlight on you, even when you're in your car, because you just never know. So yeah, and they're cheap. Like I think that one that I got at Harbor Freight was like, I don't know, $15, and they're great because you can also hit it where it can just stay on, you know. But it's really high powered. We can see all, you know, real far.
At any point in my life, I may have 3 flashlights on me. Here's my little keychain light, and
Wow, that's powerful.
It does well.
Where'd you get
also.
that one?
I ordered it off Amazon.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to get some of the links of these exact things, because for sure I am ordering one of these today, this solar power charger, because that I have been stranded without phone service, and I mean without phone charge.
You can just lay that one in the dash of your vehicle, and you've always got 2 or 3 chargers on your phone.
Wow. That's awesome.
So in emergency planning and preparedness, with your family or friends, designate a specific location that you're going to meet. You know, if your kids are at school, there might be a situation where everybody has to leave the school. Designate an area that's close to that they know they can go to, and you come pick them up. If your house is on fire, you don't want the family all standing around 4 different corners of the house. You all need to meet at a specific location, so you're still not trying to get back in the house. And emergency preparedness, there comes your CPR and first aid certificate again. You need to be trained. It can't be going wrong if you get a little more training and learn how to. So if you really need to help somebody, you can help them.
And you never know when you're going to have to use that, you know.
Right.
It may not be your family. Like, for instance, my dear brother had a heart attack on a golf course, and luckily the lady that was the next hole up knew CPR. She kept him alive. She is the sole reason he is alive today. Because she kept him alive until the emergency people could get there. And they said that. They said, you know, only 1% of people survive what you just went through. And if this one was not there, you would not be alive. So, yeah, get your CPR training.
And these emergency kits too, not only at home, but keep some in your car. You know, you've heard stories of people running off in the ditch or running off the road, and they not be found for 3 or 4 days. It would be nice to have some water and maybe a granola bar to snack on, a blanket or a heavier coat to put on to keep you from dying.
Right. That's an excellent point, because I know that the couple weeks ago when we had all of that icy weather, I can't tell you how many cars I saw that were slid off the road.
Right.
You know, and if they were down there and they couldn't get their door open, you know, to get out, you know, but if you have a little bit of water or food or an extra blanket, extra shoes, whatever, that will save your life.
There was a lot of people around the country that died last week from being stuck in a car.
Wow.
or being stuck in a apartment or whatever, that they had no heat. So have your second type of heat ready to go.
And, you know, if you do go off a little hill or something, don't try to back out of it, because I don't know if you saw this car. It was actually on New Chapel. This was about a month and a half ago. And a lady had gone off, and then she tried to keep backing out. Well, when she did that, it
caught the car on fire.
And the whole hill, and she would have died had that not, you know, the Good Samaritan hadn't come the other direction and pulled her out of the car. So, you know, when you get down there, don't think that you can just put it in reverse and it's going to pop you up.
Good example.
So,
Yep.
Okay.
So, survival in outdoors or survival in general, how to find water, food, and shelter. In my camping adventures, I didn't like to use questionable water unless I had to. You know, we live in a day now that you can carry a bottle of water or a gallon of water with you. But they make water treatment pills that will purify water, boil water. You know, you can do all those different things. Water coming freshly out of the ground, I wouldn't be too scared to drink that water. But the creeks and things around here, the lakes, don't drink that water unless you have to. Filter it, boil it, take care of it.
Yeah, you don't know what has gone running off into that. You know, a lot of people are still using really bad pesticides, you know, like Roundup and different things like that. And that's like a form of Agent Orange. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of that to kill you, basically.
So some of these things are going back over again. How to start a fire. There's 100 different ways to start a fire, and just pick which one you're good at and learn how to do it well. Orientation with the land. Familiarize yourself with a map of the land. May even carry a map with you. Use a compass. Learn how to navigate with the sun and the moon. Tying knots is a good skill. Learn how to tie knots, and different knots work better in different situations. Making a weapon. My wife said, she helped me with this outline right here. She said, making a weapon? Why do you want to make a weapon? If you're in the middle of a forest, I almost said jungle, but a forest somewhere, and it's getting dark, and you don't know if there's coyotes or bobcats, cougars, what might be coming up on you, you need to have a stick, a sharp stick that you can keep off of them. You want to find you a good straight stick, cut it, sharpen it on one end, take the pointed end, roll it in the fire to harden it. You want to make the stick taller than you are.
Oh.
Why you want to make it taller than you are? So you don't fall and poke it in your eye.
Oh, my gosh.
So learn how to make a survival weapon if you have to.
Great information.
Survival gear to have. You need a survival knife, a survival kit. Fire starter again. Keeps coming up. Being prepared and having a sufficient level of survival. You know, that's where a lot of people get in trouble when they panic and they go to running in the woods, and they're more lost and they injure themselves. They cause themselves more damage than they would have.
All right, we have 10 minutes, only 10 minutes left, and I do have to do one more sponsor spot. So let me run that while we figure out what is the last 9 minutes of things that we need to tell our good listeners out there. So let's see here. I don't think we have talked about Corbin Creek yet.
Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Store. Now is a great time to stop by and ask your questions about the garden you grew, or the garden you want to grow, or the plans that you have for your yard. Should I plant this over in that corner? Is there too much shade, too much sun? All of the questions that you have, you can get them answered at Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Store. Amy is there to help you out, whether it be a question about Or maybe you've got questions about CBD products. They have locally produced CBD products. The sags they sell, actually, she and Miss Jane make them right there in the house. Everything's produced from plants her brother Bill grows, so it's Robertson County CBD. CBD has helped me tremendously with my arthritis. It may be a game changer for you from arthritis, maybe sleep issues. No matter what your questions, what you need, go by and see them at Corbin Creek. 4920 Highway 161. You can give them a call. 615-384-3185. 615-384-3185. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on their hours as they change with the season and for all the things going on at Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Store. Tell them U-Turn sent you.
Okay, and that was U-Turn Laverne. This is Lee Marie filling in for her as she's taking a little R&R time. And we have Joe Bilyeu in the house giving us some amazing tips for survival and camping and hunting and all the types of things that I want you all to be putting on your calendar for 2023 with your family. And now, maybe there's even some adults out there that don't know how to do some of this stuff with their kids. Are there some resources out there? I mean, I know that there's a lot of great Boy Scout troops, right?
Right.
To get the kids started.
There's a troop of Boy Scouts in Springfield that you can get in contact with. There's a group in Cross Plains. I know there's a group in White House. Cedar Hill did have a group, but I think right now they're in a down position right now. They may have some Cub Scouts. But get involved with scouting. Mm-hmm. Be involved in it. You're not just going to drop your kids off with whoever. Mm-hmm. Be there with them. Yes. Be there with them. Support the scouting. And I say scouting. You can do this without scouting, right. but doing it with a group of people. The socialization that they learn, social skills they learn with working with different people. And I always taught my scouts that we're all the same. There may be different color people, but we're all the same. Mm-hmm. You treat everybody the same. Mm-hmm. So we've always stood on that. Mm-hmm. And talking about Eagle Scouts, mm-hmm. just for a minute. Yeah. You can see that. This is a study from Baylor University, mm-hmm. and talking about Eagle Scouts. And from my group, we had 6 Eagle Scouts come out at the same time. Wow. That was the largest group of Eagle Scouts to come out in Middle Tennessee.
Wow. Congratulations.
As far as people can remember, that was a big group of Eagle Scouts. Of those Eagle Scouts, to become an Eagle Scout, they had to have a community project, help others. We built a handicap ramp for a young lady in Cedar Hill who had childhood arthritis. Okay. We built a buddy bench at Cheatham Park, which is still standing and operational. A buddy bench is a place for, if you're new at the school, you go sit on the buddy bench and people know to come and introduce themselves to you.
So we done that. Cool.
We had a scout.
I love that buddy bench.
Buddy benches. Go by Cheatham Park School, and behind it there's a yellow bench. Jacob Garrison built that for his Eagle Scout project. Wow. We built soccer goals also for Cheatham Park School. Let's see. Dylan.
Someone did a blind, right? For
yes, Jacob Garrison or Jacob King, Matthew King. Matthew King built a mobile hunting blind for handicapped kids. And what we done was took a trailer and turned it into a blind that a wheelchair can access. Oh, that's awesome. And we've actually taken 2 or 3 kids camping on that or hunting on their hunting expedition. It just makes it easier. Nobody wants to go hunting if they're going to be a hindrance to everybody, but this trailer, we still got it if anybody needs to use it or to holler at me. One of my sons built a trailer for the high school band to haul their band equipment on. Wow. So it's things like that, and the Eagle Scouts projects that we were involved in, and the Eagle Scout that come behind us, they still call me sometime. They say, hey, what can we do for Eagle Scout project? So last year, Austin Moses built flower boxes for Branchford Elementary.
Oh, nice.
And I've seen them. They're very nice. They're on wheels. They can bring them in the building, and then they can take them outside. Wow. And the kids get to plant their own flowers. But I know now, I've been out of scouting now for 6-7 years, but the things are still happening that we laid a foundation for. Mm-hmm. Right now, there's a young man from Greenbrier that's going to build 11 flower boxes, kind of in line with what Austin Moses built. Oh, nice. And so we contributed some donations to him so he could build the boxes. But Eagle Scouts is an honor. Eagle Scouts is something you put on your job resume, on your college application. It gets you just a little more respect in anything you do. Eagle Scout, being an Eagle Scout, if you go in the military, you start in a rank above everybody else.
Wow.
Because they know that you showed leadership and skills to become a leader. Both of my boys have just finished college. Praise the Lord, they just both got a good degree, and they're gonna have good jobs in life.
Good job, Dad.
I want to tell
Mom.
this one Eagle Scout story. Hunter was at Tennessee Tech, which he was Eagle Scout. He's to Tech. They had a big fireplace in the middle of their campus. So Hunter goes to the fireplace, and there's some other kids around the fireplace. And, they start chatting back and forth. There's 3 boys and a girl there. Come to find out, all 3 of those boys at Tennessee Tech around the fire were Eagle Scouts.
Oh my gosh.
So the only one that wasn't an Eagle Scout was the girl that was there in the group. But, Eagle Scouts are more prone to go to college. They're more prone to own their own house, to be a leader in a job. Some of these statistics right here show Eagle Scouts are regularly participate in fishing 30% more than your average person. They participate in camping 40% more than your average person. And one I'm kind of proud of, and there's not anything wrong with drinking a beer if you want to, but influencing kids on doing that is not a good thing.
Right.
And I always tell my Boy Scouts, do not drink. At least do not drink until you're 21. And I hope it influenced them some. But Boy Scouts or Eagle Scouts are 25% less likely to drink alcohol.
Oh, that's great.
Than other kids.
Very cool. Yeah, this is a Christian station, and we don't advocate drinking at all. So
No.
That's good to know about the Eagle Scouts.
Eagle Scouts report being closer to their co-workers 57% more times than others. Have extremely close relationships with their friends. Have talked and visited neighbors at least once a month. They're 40% more likely to go see their neighbors. They agree they find spiritual presence in nature. And Lee Marie said something about that earlier. There is a spiritual presence in nature, and just being out there and be involved in all the beauty of nature. Eagle Scouts report taking courses in classes, college, higher education. Let's see. Being part of Eagle Scouts, they have been taught disaster relief and survival their whole time in scouting. My boys have taken it to a new level. We have a survival room in our house that's full of food supplies, medical supplies, water, and so if something happens, I think we're prepared, or at least somewhat prepared to go into the
Right.
emergency.
Well, we are out of time already, and I'm so glad that you were able to come on. And Dylan and Hunter, I mean, they're perfect examples of what you have done, in training them, and they're just such fine men. And I mean, your whole family, your entire family is just so amazing.
Thank you.
And so I'm so happy that you were able to come on and share some of this, the wisdom with you that's been passed down along through all of you guys. And so, we would love to have you back. I know that you're so busy, but I knew that there was a holiday here, and I thought, okay, this is my opportunity.
Don't tell I'm bashful. I don't like to talk.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
And I just want to thank my wife for helping me put this outline out.
Okay.
Sometimes you have the knowledge, but it's hard to express it sometime in the way it should be. So she helped me lay this out.
All right, Jackie. Good job. All right. Anybody else you want to do a shout out to? Well, actually, we have like 1 minute left. So the whole family, right? Because you have such a huge family.
So let me tell you an Eagle Scout story.
Okay.
One of my Eagle Scouts, Alec Rodriguez, and I say his name because he's still like one of my sons, and I don't think he would care. He's fixing to be a new dad.
Oh.
He works for a contractor that does a lot of work for Electrolux and other companies. But being involved with these boys, one of the things we volunteered for 615 to help the homeless in Nashville. Like, 4, 5, 6 times we went over, and what we done was help prepare a meal. The people were able to come in and take a shower and get a new change of clothes. We actually went out into the community over Nashville and brought the kids in for church services. And that was so
Nice.
moving for me to see my boys, and all my scouts are my boys, coming off the buses with kids in their arms that they've gone out in the community and brought back and they fed them and they got to do a church service.
Wow, very
So,
cool.
and you don't know the impact that you have on a child's life, but carrying my scouts back home, Alex told me one time, he said, Joe, he said, I'm glad you took us over there to help those homeless people.
Oh,
He said, I've always thought in my life that I didn't have much. He said, but I see now having a home and a mom and dad and, you know, food on the table. He said, I'm really blessed to have all the things that I have.
oh, that is awesome. Very cool. Well, excellent job. You've done so much in the community, and we really appreciate you, and we appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and if you guys missed any part of this, please go on to Facebook or YouTube and watch the video.
Maybe we'll go camping.
There you go. You just said it. So, no excuse now. You guys got the information and the resources. Make it a great day. I will be back tomorrow, actually with 2 Eagle Scouts. Both Clint and Barry were Eagle Scouts. So we'll continue on that with a great conversation with some more first-time guests on One Street Over. You've been listening to 1100 WSGI. Make it a great day. Make it a great year. God bless.
Set the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second